Hey everybody, my name's Patrick Wiley. I'm here with my friend from the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce, Bruce Flax.
Hello.
How are you, Bruce?
I'm doing great, Patrick. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Appreciate you coming into the new office here. It's a very exciting day for the both of us because this is the pilot episode of the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce and 321 Media presents Community Conversations.
That's right.
So, what is Community Conversations?
We've had a lot of conversations about this, the desire for 321 Media and the Mystic Chamber to work together.
Yes.
And so we were looking at, what's the right fit? What do people want to see? And we talked about looking at business leaders who are chamber members. So the leaders of the chamber, the owners of the company, the senior VPs, and looking at them from a business perspective, a personal perspective, and a community perspective, and maybe finding out some information about them, how they approach what they do, why they're successful, and maybe even getting some advice for people out of it as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I like the aspect of not just getting to know the business mind of the owner, but maybe learning a fun fact about them. Like I run marathons and triathlons and all that fun stuff. There are a lot of things about business owners that you don't know when you walk into their storefront.
That's right. And like the genesis of their business and
how
they got involved in it and where they came from and where they think they're headed. And also getting that advice because, great leaders have great advice and great stories. And there's unique things about all of them that we're going to try to bring to the surface and tell the world about.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I think what I'm most excited about, as much as I love being in this office, in this new studio, this nice conference room table, this is probably the only episode that will be in studio. We're going to go on location to these businesses themselves so you can get a real in-depth look at the organizations.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that 321 Media brings to the table, really, is that ability to go out and do video. So what you guys are bringing to the community is amazing.
Yeah, no, well, we appreciate it. Certainly love the opportunity to collaborate with another chamber of commerce that's so close to home. And, I kind of want to talk a little bit about that because, I live in Hopkinton. I'm right on the North Stonington line. I have an office in Westerly. I go out to eat all the time in Mystic. I patronize a lot of businesses in the greater Mystic area. We're separate chambers, but really it's one big community. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think that, we're talking about the Ocean Chamber and Lisa Kanicki and her team. And, Lisa is truly one of the hardest working people I know. And what she brings to Westerly and to Stonington and Mystic and then north to South County is beneficial to everybody. And the programs that she puts together, really anybody who's helping business is good for business. So whether it's the Mystic Chamber or the Westerly, the Ocean Chamber, or us doing it together, it's only good for everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. Many people might know Ben is a board member of the Ocean Community Chamber. It's a fantastic opportunity for him and for 321. So I'm excited that I get to step into a role where I get to build a relationship with you guys.
Yeah.
It's something that did not happen before, and it's been a lot of back and forth and figuring out how we're going to make it work. And I'm just really excited that we've finally figured this thing out, and we're going to give it a shot.
Yeah, we are too. I think that this kind of our portfolio, with the community pride, which was created to kind of humanize the businesses, and the 5 things to do in Mystic, which are the reels that are get like 30,000 to 60,000 a weekend, and we want to be generous to our members. We don't want to charge people, and that's what we're doing. Is we're putting them out there. We're doing it for our members, and this is another way to let people understand the business owners and business leaders in this community that kind of goes across southeastern Connecticut, and learn more about them, and hopefully patronize them.
Absolutely, and these are These are the types of businesses that we have supporting us on our high school sports broadcasts. Right. So we started out just broadcasting Westerly High School sports, and we've since expanded into a few more school districts, one of them being Stonington.
Yeah.
Our goal at 321 is to connect businesses with highly engaged audiences through high school sports. So this is just another way for us to sort of tie all this in together and sort of humanize these businesses a little bit. Like, they live, work, and play in the community. They have kids who go to these schools. So it's just nice to be able to connect all of this together and really show, like, hey, we are one community. Whether we live in Westerly, whether we live in Stonington, Mystic, Groton, we're all in it together, essentially, right?
And I think, fortunately, the businesses that run through these communities are so diverse, and they run from, mom and pop businesses up to, electric boat that make the world, the United States safer.
Sure.
And so I think that's another, really advantage that we have to be able to bring it to. It's a really attractive thing that we're able to do it. And they kind of all have their stories and what they do.
It's, they're diverse businesses in terms of, the size of the businesses, the types of the businesses, but also diverse in the people they interact with, the communities that they serve. We don't just serve Westerly. We serve all of South County. We're moving further north into Rhode Island. We're moving into Eastern Connecticut. We're not just about one community. We love Westerly. We love Charahoe, but we love all the communities that we serve. And this is just one way for us to show that.
Yeah. And I think that the kind of the school sports angle that you guys are, I think, built on right now are, it's just a perfect thing, because that's what ties the communities together.
Yes.
There's so much pride, in Westerly sports and the Stonington sports, and being able to watch them in this day and age on your phone or wherever they are, you guys showing it live is really just the sign of the technology, but also it's creating opportunities.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, we have a lot of amazing guests lined up for the first few episodes. I don't know that we want to speak on that right now in the pilot episode. Maybe we want to keep it a surprise. Do you just want to let everybody know, hey, what can we expect in these first couple of episodes? What's the format like? I know we're talking personal, business, community, but what's the whole idea behind community conversations?
Yeah, I think it's trying to open up our leaders and have them and inform, let the public know, the community know what they're made of, how they got there, and their life lessons. And so we were kind of talking that the guinea pig would be today, and I would be the person trying to not trying, but answering the questions and kind of showing what it's all about. And I'm sure that what today's episode looks like compared to what it might look like in 3 months, maybe a little bit different, but that's the journey that we're on, and I like it.
Yeah, I love it. And let's talk a little bit more about you and about the Chamber for a second. So I first heard of Bruce Flax listening to Lee Elsey's show on 94.9 News Now, probably 9 or 10 years ago. And I'm like, oh, who's this Bruce guy? He's got such a good voice for radio. I thought you were this big radio guy. So how did you, first of all, what did you do prior to your life in the Chamber?
Yeah.
And how did you start getting involved with things like the Lee Elsey show and all these other things that you're involved with?
The Chamber. So I moved down here in 1994 to be the ticket manager at Foxwoods. Okay. And I was there for 26 years. And during COVID, I worked all during 2020, but at the end of the year, they had tried to do kind of, shows with spacing, and it just wasn't working out. And so I had gotten furloughed. The week before I was furloughed, the president of the Chamber had resigned, and I was the chairman of the board of the Chamber through Foxwoods. And so when I got furloughed, I was just sitting in her seat and just kind of doing the stuff, and I was seeking a new replacement for her, and had some long conversations with my wife about what my shelf life at Foxwoods was, what my exit strategy would be. And I love Foxwoods and still do. They were great to us. I have 5 kids, raised our families working there. And they own a very special place for me, the tribe and Foxwoods. But decided that, I had been on town council for 7 years and mayor for 2 years at Groton. And so it was, I liked the idea of working a mile from my house downtown in the community. And so that's what we ended up doing. So I took that job. Applied for the job, because then the hiring went over to the executive board and the board. And so that's how I got to the chamber. But it's been great because it's allowed me to kind of blossom a bit and do like marketing ideas that maybe wouldn't work at Foxwoods or weren't able to really get out there, but just kind of do stuff. And that's what we're doing. And we're trying to, I think we kind of kick the chamber world on its side a little bit, and the programs that we've instilled and how we approach things, I think is a new, fresh look. So that's how I kind of got to this. And it's been, this is my 5th year, and it's been a good ride. I'm really enjoying it.
I love it. And, you sort of hit both the business and the community thing in your answer there, because your business is serving the community, right? So what's something about you that maybe the average person doesn't know? Something unique, something fun, what makes you tick? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that that's such an open, right? Such you can go so many directions.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that's most special in our world for the past 10 plus years is that we adopted. So after we had 4 biological children, we ended up adopting our youngest son, Damon, who was 3.5 at the time, and he's been with us over 10 years, part of a member of the family, and and that kind of drove my oldest daughter to she works for DCF, and having that whole process in our house kind of drove that way. And it's just been, the foster adoption world right here in our corner of southeastern Connecticut is one that needs people. Both for fostering and for adopting, and even for respite. And if people ever want to consider adopting or being in that world, we're happy to talk about it. My wife, people say, like, how did that come about? And
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, how did it come about? And so we ended up, my wife one day, she's a math teacher at Ledyard High School. She's like, I kind of got this thing at the top of my head. I hear this chatter in my head about, children with no parents. And, she sees the kids in the high school who don't have a parent. And she's like, we seem to be doing something right. Maybe we can help somebody. Yeah. So we ended up, all of us, myself and the 4 kids and my wife went to in Stonington to a little workshop to find out about it. And we ended up getting licensed for it, which was a 10-12 week every Wednesday at the Waterford Police Department, taking a course, and then getting licensed. They interview all your kids. They do background checks, all that kind of stuff. And then we were queued up to be an adoptive family. And what they do is something called pairings, where when there's a child who needs to be adopted, the social worker will kind of go out to the other social workers in Connecticut and say, hey, this is the profile of the child. Who do you have that fits?
Sure.
Family wise. And so we went through a number of those and it wasn't the right fit. And then Damon came along and it's been the right fit. And it clearly has made me, a learning experience, patience experience, understanding, and hopefully becoming a better person.
That's awesome. And how old is Damon now?
Damon is just started junior year at Fitch. He's 16.
Wow. So 13 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think when I'm hearing this, because I had no idea prior to this, I swear I didn't know this. To adopt, you have to be a different type of person, right? I think you have to have a servant's heart. But also I think that to be the president of a chamber, you also have to have a servant's heart, right? So it's that type of personality, I think, that can lend itself to these type of things, right? Like not everybody is going to go and adopt somebody. Not everybody is, I'm going to be the president of a chamber of commerce. Yeah. What does that even mean?
And,
right?
and I think that one of those life lessons or things that I hold dear is that you always have capacity to learn. You always have capacity to be a better person. You always have the capacity to look at yourself and see, not be afraid to say, oh, I could do that better. Or, gee, I'm sorry that I didn't see that side of things, and that serves well in the chamber world and with businesses, because you don't, when our job is to keep ourselves afloat and to help business in the community. And it can be done in so many different ways that, but you end up learning along the way. So one of those things is to be open-minded. I went to, when I was at Fox's, I went to a leadership program that was very well known. I ended up going to Colorado in Boulder, Colorado for a week long, where you fill out all these questionnaires and you learn about yourself. And there was like an aha moment in that program where I was out with a group of people and problem solving. And I'm like, I know it. This is the right answer. We need to do this.
Right.
And it was totally wrong. It was totally wrong. But it changed.
Sure.
From that point forward, it changed how I think about things and see, like, you know what? I may not always be right. And if somebody's telling me that that's the way, I need to have that capacity to be able to, understand, ponder. I may go back to where I was, but at least consider that you're not always right.
No, it's good to be humbled every now
You're
and then, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I really appreciate you stopping by. I'm so excited to be starting this series, Community Conversations.
Yeah.
Talking to all the wonderful leaders and members of the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. In fact, we start recording next week. And this is going to be a weekly show. It will be simulcast on 321's platform, as well as the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. And if you have any interest in being a guest, you can reach out directly to Bruce or Megan at the chamber. And we'll see if we can't get you on the schedule.
No, and I can't say, thank you and Ben enough for kind of going on this journey with us and making it possible. And I think that, there's going to be a lot of surprises in terms of what the leaders and people in our community have to say. And it will be an interesting watch.
Yeah. Well, it's an absolute honor and pleasure. Bruce, this is going to be a fun excursion for the both of us. So I'm excited. Folks, it's going to be airing very, very soon. Ben's going to give you all the details and the descriptions, and you'll see things posted on social media. But until next time, I'm Patrick Wiley.
I'm Bruce Flax.
This has been Community Conversations.